found a picture we took many years ago, when I said to you we would never grow old. Messages I've saved that I never send, 'cause I don't know you, but I used to back then. I remember that I was drunk out my mind when we kissed for the first time. In the back of your car we passed out counting stars. Promised all these years we'd pack our things and disappear. I never thought I would see you here after all this time. Yourself away out of this small town. Got a place at school you didn't hang around. Every day you're far away, these streets don't feel the same. Everywhere is painted with your name. I remember that I was drunk out my mind when we kissed for the first time. In the back of your car we passed out counting stars. Promised all these years we'd pack our things and disappear. I never thought I would see you here after all this time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours. How's everyone doing? I'll take silence as doing great. Awesome.
Hello.
Hello. Cool. So Carol is out of office today. So we'll have the legendary Bruno sharing and running the stream today. I think we can dive right into it. Today we have a couple things to cover, but we also should have a lot of time for breakout rooms. So, if you're on your way to updating your contracts to secure Cadence, or you are on your way to updating FCL to the latest version, which we will also talk about today, you should have some time to go to the dedicated breakout rooms and ask your questions. So as usual, let's introduce the team first, and then we can kind of dive into the agenda. For those of you who have never been on Office Hours, this is our weekly community touch point where we talk about either things that are happening, cool projects that are being built on Flow. If you have a cool project that you're building on Flow and you want to showcase it, then please feel free to reach out to us, and specifically to Carol and Trey that are part of the community managers, and we can get it showcased in one of these office hours. So the team. So we have the dev avocados. Let me just make this a little bigger. Kim, Bruno, and myself. We have the community managers, Carol and Trey. We have the Cadence engineers, Josh, Bastian, Satyam, and Alvaro, who recently joined. Welcome, Alvaro. Yeah, high five. Then we have the FCL and SDK and engineers, Greg, Chase, Max, Gregor, and Yanez. So they will be in the breakout room for SDK and FCL later. And then we have the DevX team, Shrinjoy, Mac, Pete, Morton, and Alex. They're the guys building all the developer tools that make it a breeze to build on Flow. Although, of course, there's lots of stuff to improve, and we'd love both your ideas and your help if you want to contribute to our open source repos. And that goes for every repo, not just the developer experience ones. And then we have Albert, our beloved Albert, solutions engineer, and marketing, David. We're also hiring. So this is one of the roles that we're hiring for. Check out dapperlabs.com/careers for all of the roles that we're hiring for. But specifically, we're looking for a full stack engineer to join the developer experience team. So if you have a lot of ideas and would like to contribute code and make that your full-time job to kind of build out the developer tools, this is a great opportunity for you, and you should reach out and send us your CV. All right. So what's on the agenda for today? So we have Bjartek, who's going to talk a little bit about the upcoming top secret, but not so top secret, the world's worst kept secret, Bjarte, right? Find V2, and he's gonna talk to us talk to us as much as he wants about the upcoming features. I don't know which ones are secret and which ones aren't, so I won't I won't blunder and say things that I shouldn't be saying. I'll let him speak. We'll then have Srinjoy kind of announcing FCL 1.0. It's been in alpha for 2-3 weeks now. A couple apps have already started updating, but it's finally reached 1.0. It's finally released. I think it's 1.0.3 as of this morning at least. And Srinjoy will tell us all about it. And then we'll have Luke kind of walking us through the Dapper Sports ecosystem grant. And then we'll have time to kind of break out. Throughout office hours, feel free to drop your questions in the Slido. The link is bit.ly/OH-May19. Trey will also send it in the chat. And that's where we'll be monitoring the questions. But as usual, feel free to speak up if you want to ask something and you don't want to write it on Slido. Cool. And last thing I'll mention, actually 2 things I'll mention before we get started, is first thing is at the end of the month, we'll have an office hours dedicated to the economics of Flow. So I know this is a regular topic that gets asked in our Discord. So at the end of the month, we'll have a office hours dedicated to that. Might be end of the month, might be early next month, but in a couple weeks or so, we will have that office hours. So make sure you check it out, and we'll be sending an announcement for it. And then the other thing that's worth mentioning and reminding everyone is we are on the road to permissionless deployment, and that entails introducing some breaking changes to Cadence, to what we call secure Cadence. And the secure Cadence breaking changes you can find in our forums, and maybe Trey can send a link to it. The main dates that you should have in mind are June 8th, which is when secure Cadence will be deployed on testnet, and June 15th, when it will be deployed on mainnet. Before those 2 dates, the team has both created a specific CLI as well as a code analyzer that you can use to test out your contracts and see what needs to be changed. There's only relatively minor changes that need to be done, whether it be like adding references or forcing optionals, force casting optionals, but the force unwrapping optionals. It should be relatively straightforward to upgrade, but it's important that you get ready now and you start testing your contracts. Okay, cool. And if you have any questions around that, feel free to ask in the dedicated breakout rooms. All right. So with that being said, I think we can get started. So Bjarte, do you want to take the stage?
Yeah, hello. So I asked for a little bit of time to talk about Find. We're not quite ready to do a full highlight of it yet, because what I'm basically here to talk about today is the first phase that we want to do, and that is to test with more data. So right now we are approaching the feature parity of the Find2 marketplace. That is part of what Find2 is going to be. And what we are aiming to do is create a marketplace where anything that supports the metadata standard will be able to be listed for sale and auction and direct offers. And we've spent a lot of hours in time on UX and responsibility to make it responsive, the design, and make the discoverability of and filtering of all the resources very fast and efficient. But right now, in order to test that, we need more data. So that was really why I asked for a little bit of time today. So if you have a project on testnet that is implementing the standard, the metadata standard, or if you want to, I can help you with that, with getting it implemented, so that we can get more data to test it better. Because right now, I really want to have as much data as possible so that I can be sure that it will be as fast as I think it will be, even when I have lots of data and not just a little bit of data. So right now we support our own NFTs in Find. That's a different feature that we're going to release a little bit later, but Find version 2 will also have a minter platform, so you can mint your own NFTs. So almost like Unwearable, just not quite like Unwearable. And so we support those, and we support the Neo NFTs and the Blocks NFTs. But we want to have more, way more, as much as we can, really. So if you could help me with that, I would be very happy.
Cool. And what's the best way to reach out?
Just ping me on Discord, really. I'm pretty active on Discord. Way too much, at all hours of the day, really. Even though I shouldn't be. I do sleep, though. I'm not like Jacob that doesn't sleep. So I do sleep. But just ping me there or send me an email at bjarte@findxyz if you want. But I prefer Discord. So
cool.
I can also ask. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, sorry, you go first.
No, I was just saying if people have questions, they can. I guess I can ask some questions and I can answer as good as I can, because we're so close now that it's a lot of it is, as you said, it's the worst kept secret ever, and that's kind of on purpose as well. So
awesome. I mean, maybe while we have you here, for those that don't know, do you mind maybe giving a very brief history of Find, what it is, and what it's hoping to be, as much as you can disclose, of course?
Yeah, sure. So Find version 1 was basically the simplest things in that the word find is kind of means, and it's just find people and their things. So we started out with building a name service, just so you can have a pretty name, and then we built collection browsing on top, so you can browse your NFTs that you have. So right now we support a lot of NFTs. We're looking to support many more, to cooperate more with the new collection browsing tools that come out. And so that was Find version 1, basically. It also allows you to send fungible tokens using a Find name, and we have integrated it into, or the community has integrated it into, a lot of different projects like FlowScan or Flowatar, or Emerald City has included as support for resolving names using Find. But then Find version 2, we aim to cater to a different audience that want to find things. So what if you want to find somewhere to sell? Or if you have found an NFT and you want to buy it, then you should be able to. And right now, that's kind of hard to just make direct offers. And there's also no place that I know of that have auctions for generic NFTs, for any NFTs. Arrest me if I'm wrong, but I haven't found any. I know there are contracts in the works, though, in different places. But that's one of the new audiences we want to target. And then we also want to target the artists with the minting, so you can mint things. So the Flow sock scenario, for instance, is one of the first ones we're gonna solve. That's one of our primary scenarios that we want to support to make easy. So for those who don't know, Flow Socks was an addition art drop that they made 111 socks that were the same. And they dropped that on Rarible, and at that time at least, they had to mint each of them separately. We want to make that as simple as writing in some text and dragging a file into the UI and pressing a button. That should basically cater to the simplest drops. But we also have made systems that will work for larger drops, so where you could mint a lot of things and pack them and randomize them and make drops. That's basically what we did for the blocks project. So they basically got a sneak peek of what eventually we want to make self-service for everybody that wants to, if they want to.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Bjarte, but the blocks project was also an early adopter of FCL 1.0, right?
Yes, I believe so. I don't do front end, so that's many people find it strange. But I'm one of the few cadence devs that don't do front end. But yes, I believe we do. Find also uses FCL 1. Find 1 now. We changed that around, so we support Lilico if you want to use Lilico.
Awesome. Cool.
So,
yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming. That's finding our way here.
Yes, it's finding its way. That was a good one.
And yeah, so reach out to Bjartek if you have any questions or want to participate in the testing on testnet, in the load testing of Find v2, and yeah, or if you have questions around the metadata standard, I also linked the awesome video he made that you can use, so that you can watch if you still haven't started using the metadata standard in your project.
Yeah, I would just note that the standard has evolved since that video. So we might do another one or find some other way to do more, because Amit and Say Codes, after they joined Dapper, the progress has stepped up a lot. So there are a lot more views now that are finalized and way more to come soon, I've heard. So it's growing into be a little bit richer than what it was in that video that me and Jacob did, where it was basically display. But now you have royalties in place and some collection info things and lots of different things that are coming along.
Looking forward to it. But still worth watching that video. It'll explain at least the foundational concepts. And once the new video comes out or more material comes out, then you'll have at least a basic understanding as well. Cool. Bartek, anything else you wanted to mention? Let me just check if we have any questions for you. Okay. So there are some questions that we can answer later, but it doesn't seem to be any for Find. So we can wait until after if any questions trickle in. Cool. Thanks, Bjarte. And let's move on to the next topic. Cool. Srinjoy, do you want to talk to us about the legendary FCL 1.0?
Would you, by chance, be able to pull up the forum post?
Do you want to link it on the office hours chat?
Yep.
Or I can look for it.
I'll share your screen if you'd like. If it works.
I've added it to the chat. Do you prefer I share my screen?
Yeah, sorry, just running into Discord screen sharing issues, or else I would
Okay,
do it.
yeah. I can just share my screen, don't worry. Can everyone see it?
Yep, nice. All right. So FCL 1.0 has been in the works for a while, probably over the last 2 years since Flow started. So it's a pretty big milestone for the FCL team. Obviously, a lot of things have been built up, and it's not just this last release that has all the features, but all of the things that we've been working on so far. But specifically for this 1.0, the reason you'd want it is, as Tech mentioned, that the Lilico wallet will only work if you are 1.0 and above. So that the way that that'll work is you'll want to use the new FCL Discovery, which will come with a better default UX, as well as giving you an API version if you want to make your own UI for how you want to show Blockto or Lilico or any other number of wallets. And you can check out the link there for exactly how to do that. The next thing is one-click login with account proof. So as someone authenticates, if you'd like to get proof of their account back, then the 1.0 has that integrated, and some of the wallets will start supporting it. Not all wallets, but if you'd like to take use of that feature, you'll also want to upgrade. And then lastly, just a couple of other more functional things, like a better API, so you don't have to use send and decode for a lot of things. Some bugs in handling large numbers, and of course, the bundle size just gone dramatically down as a result of removing gRPC. And then finally, what does 1.0 really mean for our sort of core Flow team that's been working on it? So initially, it was Deet's vision that we'd have this FCL as a foundational block of Flow, and sort of been an architectural design choice to help developers, users, and wallets so far have this common unified interface so they can really focus on features rather than integration and distribution. But FCL was really initially set out to mostly fill that functionality of what you might find in like Web3 or Ethers.js, just like the connecting, signing, and some data exchange. But over time, I think it's evolved into a lot more, and we're very excited to see where we can take it. And just a fun fact that I think over 70% of Flow dApps are using FCL in one way or another. Not everyone's using it for just the front end. Some people are using it for their back-end API. Some people are building their own custodial wallets. So there's a lot of different use cases that people are using FCL for, and we hope to continue to expand that. So where does it go?
And Stranger, sorry, do you mind if I add one extra fun fact real quick?
Absolutely, go for it.
I was looking at the dependency graph of FCL.js the other day, and there's like 3,200 repos that depend on it.
Wow, that's amazing. So hopefully that's going to become 10,000 over the next year, but one can hope. And the way that we plan on doing that is this next thing here is where we're hoping to go. So in this short term, we want to, in the very short term, as Outblock mentioned, right, they want to launch with a mobile wallet. So we're working closely with them to figure out what that native mobile experience would look like and how they would get access to FCL wallets. We'll try to do that in the most user-friendly way possible and make sure that it's broadly accessible. And then some updated documentation and TypeScript support. So we had a grant come in, and we're going to be definitely working with, I believe, Louis. So with some help from the community, hopefully we'll get TypeScript support as well. And an FCL spec. So we have a lot of people wanting to build or get FCL in different environments. And similar to what we have for the SDKs, Gregor put out like SDK guidelines to ensure that we're all evolving at the same pace. We're planning also doing that for FCL and hoping that we'll have multiple different SDKs in different languages and be able to kind of grow FCL as a specification rather than just the JavaScript library. And then in the long term, this is where things get a little bit more exciting and where we would love for everyone here to participate in discussions with and help us figure out the best solutions to these questions. But first is enabling more service providers than just wallets. So this is a big one because, right now, Discovery is just going to show you wallets, but we're thinking broadly about how can we allow the user to configure their profile, their payments, their notifications. So similar to how we don't want their wallet choice to necessarily impact, which apps they can start using, or they have to sign up for all these different services. We want to try to unify that under a single banner so that, let's say you signed up with MoonPay or you signed up with One Exchange, that when you're going elsewhere, you don't necessarily have to keep signing up and depending on the DApp to either support that or not. So hopefully we'll figure out something around there. Next one is human readable messages across Flow. So Blockto took a first stab at this, but we really want to expand that to create a more trusted, kind of verifiable, easy to interpret descriptions of transactions and what the user is signing for. So some thoughts have already begun on this, and I posted the flip there. So if you want to participate in that discussion, definitely do that. And lastly, better integration with the rest of the Flow tooling. So we've heard a lot of feedback around how FCL might not play super nicely with, for example, the Flow JSON and other things that you might be working on locally, and having to rewrite multiple configurations to get things to work and test it well. So we hope to, over the next little bit, make that a lot easier and closely integrated. So you'll be able to test your mutations and queries end-to-end on pretty much any network, locally or not. And then finally, just going to the thank yous. So another kind of fun story here is, and this one I wasn't actually around for. This is lore from the FCL team members before me. But a big thanks to the Blockto team. A few years ago, they were the first consumers of FCL, and they managed to build a proof of concept before we even had proper documentation and a very limited feature set. And over that, they worked with us very extensively to improve FCL and also create this seamless onboarding experience that you see today, which is fairly unique, I think, on many blockchains. So thanks to Blockto, and of course the 49 other unique contributors that we've had provide direct commits to FCL. Just wanted to highlight some of those big core ones over the next little bit in this top list here. So definitely check those out and check out their GitHub profiles. But if you're not on that list and you're not on the all contributors list below, we really want you to come join us and start thinking about FCL and what it can do for your projects and for Flow. So we're already accepting grants that are there. So if you have any significant contributions, like adding TypeScript and such, feel free to apply for that grant. Or you can check out our contribution guidelines if you want to put in more smaller bugs or features, or even anything else that you think might benefit other people. And lastly, we'll definitely be in all the breakout rooms. So if you don't feel like writing up a bunch of stuff or participating in pull requests, you can feel free to just drop in during our breakout rooms for a bit of a more personal chat. So hopefully see you guys around, and there's a giant list of thank yous. That's it.
Thanks, Enjoy. Just gonna scroll through like a movie credit, it's like, dun-dun-dun. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Woohoo. Cool. Thanks for enjoying, and make sure that you start playing around with FCL 1.0 and update your discovery. I was updating to FCL 1.0 in a couple dApps, and I have to say it was it was very easy. It's just a matter of changing a couple config options, like the endpoints, and adding like the title of your app, an icon for your app, and pretty much ready to go, at least in my use case. So it shouldn't be too painful, but once you do that, you will have access to all FCL compatible wallets, which, as Srinjoy said, the main one that just recently came out is Lilico, which is a non-custodial extension wallet that also just launched. So make sure that you support it. Awesome. Cool. And anything else that that anyone wanted to ask or talk about regarding FCL 1.0? Let me also double check questions. There's a bunch of questions here. So Vish, I see you ask a lot of questions around Dapper Wallet. I believe the Dapper Wallet is meet Dapper/developers. You can find all the information there. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So meet Dapper/developers. Sorry, that's where you can find all the information that you're looking for. And yeah. Oh, we submitted the form for Dapper Wallet more than a week ago. We have not received a reply. I'm not sure. I think it's just the Dapper team is receiving a lot of requests, and it might take some time to get a response. But they're working on opening it up more and more in the future. So I'm sorry for if you're not getting a response. Yeah, here. There's a bunch of wallet questions. I think we can keep them until later, just in the interest of going through with the agenda, and we can discuss later. And yeah, can you post a link to breaking changes? Any change in the structure of the messages and block headers? I think the breaking changes are related to the smart contract programming language, and these have been linked in the office hours chat. Check out the forums, and we'll also be kind of communicating it more actively in the following weeks. We're going to have a dedicated section in our documentation as well, where you can see all that information. So yeah, I can find the links for you. Here's the link. Let's do breaking changes. Okay, cool. So we can keep the rest of the questions for later when we go into the breakout rooms. Can we move on to the next topic of the agenda, which is the Dapper Sports ecosystem grant? Luke, do you want to talk to us about that?
Hey everyone. Yeah, happy to. I don't know if you had specific questions or you wanted to just let me go full ramble.
Full Rambo.
Cool. Oh, I like that. Oh, I should have said Rambo instead. Learning. Yeah, so what I'll do is just in the office hours chat. First of all, hi everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I don't want to take it for granted. I'm Luke, aka El Dumbo. So I'm a Top Shot community manager, and I tend to be hanging around in Discord all day long. So I'm often in some of the Flow communities as well. So what we've announced over on the Dapper Sports side of things is this $10 million ecosystem grant. And now you might have seen the news about the huge Flow ecosystem grant for over $700 million. And this is kind of part of that. I'll actually drop a link in Office Hours chat right now where you can apply for it. And the reason I wanted to chat about it today is because I've been speaking to a few, even some of you I see in the chat today, a few developers in the Flow community, and they've said, oh, that's cool, but nothing that I'm building would, make sense for that, because I'm building tools for these Flow stuff, not for Top Shot or NFL All Day or UFC Strike. But actually, a lot of the tools with just minor tweaks would fit for this grant program. So I kind of wanted to just highlight it, let people know if you're building a tool that could be used by, be it Top Shot fans, NBA fans for Top Shot, or NFL fans for All Day, where maybe, for example, I'm going to call out the Emerald DAO bot, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, and that obviously gates access to Discord channels based on NFT ownership. When I spoke to the Emerald DAO team, they were like, no, that we can never apply for a grant like that because we don't build for the Dapper Sports NFTs. And I was like, well, you could. And you could apply for the grant to do that. So it's a really easy way for them to bridge the gap between building for Flow projects in general and building for Dapper Sports projects in general. So I suspect that some of you out there probably have tools that would be really useful if there was just minor adjustments. And what we want to do with this grant program is really we want to just focus on building utility, gamification, and to be honest, just like fun stuff for people that collect on these platforms. And as you're aware, no doubt, we have hundreds of thousands of not crypto native people that have joined these Dapper Sports ecosystems and started collecting these platforms. And so any tools that can make that experience smoother and better is kind of a win for both Dapper Sports and the Flow ecosystem at large, because it can help onboard them and get them excited for all things NFT and crypto related, you know? I know I went for a little bit fast. I don't know if there's any questions about that. I don't know if you want any more detail. I just wanted to give like a high level overview and kind of call out that I've seen some tools out there that I think would fit really nicely in the ecosystem grant. So I wanted to make sure people had it on their radar. And again, I did drop a link in chat. So if you go to the office hours text chat, you can see it, you can apply a few simple questions, let them know what you want to build. So yeah, Jack K, feel free to hit me up as well if you want. You can always DM me for more specifics. Happy to talk through it and put you in touch directly. You know, if you've got an idea and you're like, I don't even know how to apply for this grant form, we can just put you in touch with the team that are running it, and you can just kind of have an open conversation with them as well. And that can always be helpful too.
Thanks, Luke. Awesome stuff. Definitely check out the Flow ecosystem fund, even beyond the Dapper Sports grants. Now, we have one question just come in. How can we access fundraising support? Maybe do you mind just repeating maybe the specific actions that people should take if they want to participate, or if they want to apply?
Yeah, if they want to go for the general ecosystem support, Trey's posted the link there. They can go for like the developer grant that have to apply through GitHub, and that's more for like developer stuff, which I'm sure people already have on their radar. If they want to apply for something specific to the Dapper Sports side of stuff, then again, I've posted that link in the chat. It's just a simple Google form. You fill it in, put some ideas down, and then the team will have a look and probably reach out. You know, we want to reach out to majority of applicants, even just for a conversation. If you're not too sure, if you're like, I don't know how to apply, I don't know if my idea would fit, you can actually just reach out to me directly, and I can get you in a call with the team on the ecosystem grant side of things, and they can just kind of have a 15-minute conversation and see if it fits or not. Like, you know, we really want to encourage people to have creativity. We want to encourage people to come to us with these ideas that maybe are a little bit crazy and like, we don't know how it fits, but we can talk it out and figure it out. You know, it might be we put you in touch with someone else building this space and you guys collab. It might be that your idea, we're like, if you refined it like this, that's a definite, we can definitely do that kind of thing. So we want to bring some of the brilliant developers and exciting creative minds that we've seen in the Flow ecosystem. We want to bring them to, you know, the Top Shot ecosystem, the UFC Strike ecosystem, and kind of get people excited there. You know, for example, let's take, I mean, you guys are probably familiar with Floaty, but like take something like the swap, the website swap. Like that's awesome, right? And that lets you swap Flow NFTs with other people, you know, really easy, simple. If you've not used that website, definitely check it out. But it's very easy for them to say, hey, you know what, we want to be able to do NBA Top Shot NFTs and apply for a grant to get a fund in to then build that tooling out. I believe they already can do Top Shot NFTs, so maybe not the best example, but my point is that like, yeah, cheers, Bijar, for dropping the link. But my point is that like, any tool out there, if you've got a tool and you think there's a way that it would fit nicely with the Dapper Sports, like reach out. Like the Find team, let's have a conversation and figure out how we can integrate Find.xyz into something like NBA Top Shot. You know, there's so many possibilities there. So I want to encourage the creative minds to just hit us up and get in a conversation, and we go from there. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer. I don't know if that helps.
Doesn't help at all. No, just kidding. Thank
That's
you.
my job.
No, thanks, Luke. And the person who asked further clarified that what they were specifically referring to was like the fundraising support we mentioned at the end of the grant, at the end of the ecosystem grant announcement, which is outreach to 500 VCs in our network, fundraising process, management, and general fundraising strategy. So I would say the first step to that is to just reach out to the team and present your idea. And as part of the grant, you know, process, that part will also be a component if it's relevant. So yeah, just follow Luke's instructions and maybe you can call out that you're specifically looking for that type of help.
Awesome. And my instructions just message me and we can chat about it. Very bad instructions, but we can definitely talk it out.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, in the interest of time, then I would suggest that for those of you who have FCL 1.0 general SDK questions, or any question around connecting to wallets, whether it be Blockto or anything else, go to the breakout rooms. Go to the FCL and SDK breakout room. So that's the voice chat. I believe one down from here. If you scroll down from the office hours voice chat, there's going to be two other voice chats, Cadence and SDK/FCL. The team will be in the SDKs and FCL team. If you in the FCL voice chat, if you have questions there, and if you have any questions around Cadence, the upcoming breaking changes, the metadata standard, anything related to developing smart contracts, go to the Cadence breakout room, which is the voice chat just under this one. And the team will be there as well. So yeah, and the rest of the office hours will be split now. So if you have any technical questions, or you just want to discuss technical stuff, or you just want to meet the team and talk about Cadence and SDK FCL, please join the breakout rooms below, and the team will join you there. I already see people trickling out. Some discussion starting. Awesome. Yeah, in the meantime, as people trickle out, we can cover a couple of the questions that were posted here. And if anyone has anything to add to the way that I answer them, please feel free to jump in. I am by no means an exhaustive source of knowledge. So the first question is, will NFTs expand beyond gaming and art? The answer to that is a very resounding yes. And they already have. So NFTs can be a whole lot more. If you think about it, non-fungible token or non-fungible means anything that isn't fungible. So potentially any thing that is unique in some way. And I think we still have to see a lot of the applications that will be used, that NFTs will be used with. But it could go anywhere from representing real things in the virtual world, whether it be proof of participation, which we're already doing via floats, for example, whether it be tickets, whether it be shares of a specific part of something. I think the applications of NFTs are pretty much limitless, and the good news is that it's pretty uncharted territory. So there is no wrong or right use for them. It's just a way to represent something, and you can choose what that something is and how it's represented and how it's used. For example, one cool thing that Tylen, I don't know if Tylen is in office hours today, but he and I were chatting yesterday, and he showed me a cool little something he's working on. Tylen is on the DevRel team at Flow, and he's experimenting with representing. This is less of an NFT specific thing, but it's experimenting with resources. So for those of you who have played around with Cadence, you know that one particular selling point of Cadence is the resource orientation, meaning that things in Cadence are represent, or things like NFTs, fungible tokens, or any object that has a unique property or has or anything that's scarce is represented as a resource, and at the language level is protected from being destroyed accidentally or cloned accidentally. So it's a linear type that can be used to more properly represent digital assets of value. And he was experimenting with using resources within resources, a bit like you have NFTs within collections or fungible tokens within vaults, but you could actually have any type of resource within any other type of resource. And just by being within that resource, the parent resource can control parameters or can have access to specific attributes of the underlying resource, which kind of goes into the theme of composability. And that opens up interesting applications because it's not just an NFT being like a piece of metadata that's static, but not only can it be dynamic, but it can be controlled by another resource on chain. Anyways, I'm sorry if I'm confusing you, and I'm sure that Thailand would do a much better job of explaining it, but I found it really cool and a really cool use case, not just for NFTs, but resources more broadly and the characteristics of Cadence. Anyone else have anything to add about the future of NFTs beyond gaming and art? No? All right. Cool. Then I'm just browsing the questions. These are so a couple of these were already answered. I hope that a couple are in the right breakout rooms. So anything related to FCL, make sure that you go ask in the FCL breakout room. And yeah, anything related to Cadence, for example, Nazir, make sure that you go ask in the Cadence breakout room. And yeah, Luca, are you still in the chat? Yeah, you are. Cool. We have a question for you, which is, Luke, soccer lovers are waiting for the launch of La Liga. Do we have an ETA for its launch?
Oh man, that's spicy sneak at some alpha. No ETA at this point. I mean, whoever said soccer, you're not a true football fan. If you're calling it soccer, I'm a big football fan myself. I think when a Liga does come, we want to make sure we do it right, and we want it to be, as they say, grande in Spain. So I think like no ETA. I wouldn't expect it any time super soon, but it's definitely on our radar. So I think as we have more updates, we'll let people know. But building these, much like we did with NFL All Day and UFC Strike, we do build these platforms kind of separately and differently, and almost sort of like quote unquote from the ground up, where we learn from past experiences, but we build them separately. So it's not an easy thing to get it out the door, but when we do, you can expect it to be pretty fire for sure.
Awesome. In other words, stay tuned. And yeah, I like the grande.
I almost went full Spanish with it. It's going to be fuego.
Love it. Cool. So we have a question here around when will segmented transaction fees be live? Does anyone from the team that's still on this specific room have an answer for this? No? Okay. So I have to double check with the team. I know that there was a vote on it that got approved. I think it's just a matter of implementing it. I have to double check if there is if the timelines are announced in the forum post or not. But we can follow up after. And if anyone knows, please feel free to jump in. I believe the segmented, by the way, now that I think of it, I think the segmented, I remember reading an update yesterday about it. Phil, did you want to add something?
No, sorry, I came out one channel, jumped into this one and was still speaking. I pressed the wrong button, so ignore me, guys. I'm going back to the Cadence channel. Sorry.
Bye, Phil.
Bye.
Just double checking because I remember reading something about it. Yeah, so as of April 27th, the segmented transactions were enabled on testnet. So you can already start experimenting how it is on testnet. I'm not sure in terms of timelines of when it will be on mainnet, but yeah. Oh, actually, sorry, I was just opening up the forum post. So with the current plans, the segmented transaction fees will be enabled on mainnet on Wednesday, June 1st. So there's your answer. Wednesday, June 1st. And make sure to check out the guide on how to prepare for that. I'll link it in the office hours text chat now. And I can also link the forum post that mentions what I just said. So if anyone's wondering around when will segmented transaction fees be live on mainnet, it's going to be June 1st. And just to recap, that's just one part of the whole path to permissionless contract deployment. So parallel to the segmented transaction fees, we also have secure cadence, as I mentioned at the beginning. And what that will entail is that there's going to be some breaking changes that will be deployed on testnet on June 8th and on mainnet on June 15th. So from June 8th to June 15th, there will be a 1-week window where you can test out your already updated contracts on testnet and then have them live on mainnet on June 15th. And as of June 15th, all already deployed contracts will be permissionless. So you can, So new contracts will not be permissionless. So if you have to deploy a completely brand new contract, it won't be. But existing contracts on mainnet will be permissionless as of June 15th, meaning that you can update your contract freely. All right. So Vish asks, Vish, you should really go to the FCL and SDK breakout room because it seems like you're asking a lot of questions on FCL, but I'll do my best to give you some context. FCL is currently not Dapper. So Dapper Wallet is not currently available via the FCL discovery. It very will likely be in the future, but it's not at the moment. The reason why is that Dapper Wallet, first of all, it's separate to Flow, and Dapper Wallet requires a bit more kind of control because since it also supports bank wire transfer, credit card payments, etc., it needs to go through a bit more, identity checks and KYC. So that's why it's still opening up slowly, so that we make sure that, or they make sure that they can test that out slowly with projects. But it's currently not available via the standard FCL discovery. So if you use FCL, the two wallets that people will be using are going to be Blockdo and Lilico. Blockdo is a custodial wallet that has a non-custodial mode or semi-non-custodial mode, as how specified. And Lilico is purely non-custodial. It's an extension wallet, and you can just create some keys, hold on to your keys, and set a password to the extension and just control your complete flow experience. And I suspect, Vish, that it's just taking time. I'm not really privy to how their application process works. So I would just recommend to sit tight and wait. I know that they're working hard to make sure that it's available to more and more developers. And if you have any further questions on it, feel free to join the FCL SDK voice chat. All right. Any other live questions that anyone wants to ask or discuss? Take that as a no. Maybe some community highlights. And by the way, if you have any community highlights that you want to surface, feel free to jump in. But one recent highlight is that Floats, so Float, the Flow attendance, the proof of attendance platform on Flow, recently reached 100,000 claimed floats as of yesterday, in the span of 45 days since launch. So that's a pretty strong sign of how vibrant the community is. I think it was over 730 or 40 events in 45 days. That's pretty impressive. I'm seeing them used all over the place. I see we also have BAM in the call, or in the office hours, and he was saying how at every workshop and AMA, everyone's just there asking for, when can I get the float for this? When can I get the float for that? They're really becoming a core part of the Flow community. And if you haven't already claimed them, I would recommend checking out the Flow and Flowverse Twitter channels, because there's some secret floats that you can start claiming that have keys as their image, and that will potentially give you something in the future. Who knows? So definitely check out the Flow and Flowverse Twitter accounts. The links to those floats are spread around in various comments, in various posts, in various tweets, and you can claim them. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, then we can call it an early office hours. Jack, I found these on the sidewalk. Yeah, look, if you look at the office hours text chat, you'll see that people are already undergoing a undercover market for floats, such as exchanging workshop floats, such as BZ and BAM. They're becoming very valuable. Yeah. By the way, while we're on the topic of workshops, if you are interested in learning Cadence and prefer to have some form of like guided and semi-live experience, Emerald City is having a monthly bootcamp that you can check out, where you can follow specific chapters over specific weeks, and and twice a week there's live workshops where you can join in, ask questions, and complete quests offline that will then be corrected by the awesome Cadence bootcamp instructors, such as BAM. And that will give you, if you complete all the quests, you will get a proof of certificate, like a final bootcamp completion float that will prove that you attended and completed the Cadence bootcamp. So if you want to be a pro Cadence smart contract engineer, definitely start with the bootcamp, and that will give you a very good starting point. And then, of course, it's up to you to kind of deepen your knowledge and go a bit deeper. But yeah, sorry if I keep picking on BAM, but BAM, for example, did the first bootcamp, and he's now working as a smart contract engineer for Find, coincidentally. So yeah, huge props to BAM, and huge props to you if you decide to check out the Cadence bootcamp and start learning Cadence and start working as a smart contract engineer, because I know that a lot of companies are looking for Cadence developers, So yeah, this is a great thing to start learning if you're looking for something to do next. All right. Well, I've been blabbering for a couple minutes by myself. I'm glad that we can answer any other questions if you have. Otherwise, we can also end the office hours here. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. Office hours, of course, is the weekly touch point where we can kind of get together and chat. But the Discord is open 24/7, and if you have questions, if you have comments, feel free to reach out to us, to 21. Well, actually, anyone on Discord. We have a lot of active community members, but also the Flow team is on there, and yeah, would love to chat and help you out. Cool. All right. Well, with that, I will wish everyone a great rest of the week. And yeah, see you next office hours next week. Bye, everyone.
Andrea, bye everyone. Good one.
Party on, party people.
Bye.